Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And as you all been anticipating, today I'm going to go ahead and finally do an in-depth review of Jubilation 40, The Gift of Kings by the House of Amouage. I'm also going to go ahead and compare it to Jubilation 25, which I had this for over 5 or 6 years, I believe. And I also do have the vintage bottle as well, the non-magnetic one. But I'm not going to go ahead and compare those today, just these two. Because there's a lot of information, and since a lot of people own this, I thought this would be enough. Now, with that being said, a lot of people I know already reviewed these two, but I purposely took my time to truly get to know the 40 and the 25 on my skin, and also be able to get some information from the perfumers, so I can go ahead and give you guys the correct data and information as always. Now, with that being said, let me go ahead and show you guys the phenomenal packaging of Jubilation 40, and then we're gonna go ahead and spray this and discover this today together. All right, so this is the sleeve that goes over the box. They got some very useful information on the back, the ingredients, the notes, and everything, how this fragrance was inspired. And you have the barcode right here. Sleeve comes off. Now the box is just gorgeous. I mean, look at that. Very beautiful. And there is our bottle. Very beautiful. So I've been watching some of the videos, and I realized that the number 40 has been kind of confusing for people. Some said that number 40 is the 40th anniversary of Jubilation 40, and some said that the 40 represents the concentration of the perfume oil in the bottle. Which, by the way, both of them are actually correct. So the number 40 represents the anniversary and the concentration of the oil in this bottle, which, by the way, the bottle is just gorgeous. Now, to me, it was interesting because I thought since we already have Jubilation 25, it would be another 25 years. And it would be actually till they come out with Jubilation 50. So when I saw it on the website, it was kind of unexpected for me. Amouage introduced Dia 40 for women, which we're not covering that today, and Jubilation 40 men, a new addition to the exceptional extrait collection commemorating 40 years of high perfumery. These extraits showcase Amouage's dedication to advancing perfumery, presenting bold and precious creations to admirers like myself globally. Now, this might not be as important to some of you guys, or some of you guys might already know this, but Dia 40 is crafted by Alexandra Carline, and Jubilation 40 is crafted by Bertrand Duchaufour, which each exclusive extract undergoes meticulous experimentation, pushing ingredients to their limits to reveal new, darker, more potent hidden facets and hide or muffle some brighter facets that were displayed in Jubilation 25. Renaud Samon, Amouage's chief creative officer, pays homage to the original Jubilation by teaming up with the former creator of Jubilation 25, Bernard Duchaufour, to evaluate and enhance the key characteristic of blackberry. For Jubilation 40, he decided to pair it with the blackcurrant, creating an exotic hue of golden fruity elixir. All right, so I got the dry down of these two fragrances right here. I sprayed them earlier this morning. And it's so interesting when you smell these side by side, which I did a million times on my skin, which is the same kind of a thing, the same conclusion that I get to every time, that Jubilation 40 makes Jubilation 25 a light, airy kind of a scent. It actually makes it very aromatic when you compare to Jubilation 40. To me, 25 feels even more citrusy as well. Has this like zestiness in the opening, which Jubilation 40 has it, but it's muffled. It's not as, bright, zesty, energizing, which must be the citrus. And also the other thing is the olibanum, the incense, or the Omani frankincense oil feels fresher in Jubilation 25 than it does in 40. So again, comparing these side by side, to me, Jubilation 40 is a rich, deep, amber, woody chypre fragrance, where Jubilation 25 feels now more like an aromatic amber fougere kind of a scent. So this is the first difference between these two fragrances that share the same DNA. Interesting. So they seem very close initially when you spray them, even though 40 feels dense and syrupy, which I will get to. But there's something about 40 that feels kind of green, which I'm trying to cover things that other reviewers haven't covered, because I know everybody mentioned that 40 feels dense and it's definitely sweeter, it's darker, it feels stronger, but sits close to your skin because it's extrait and the concentration is higher, so it doesn't project as much as it does with Jubilation 25, which all that stuff is true. This number 40 definitely sits closer to your skin. It is powerful. It lasts longer on your skin, actually, and on paper as well, because I tried it. I actually sprayed it on paper and I left them, and I came back after a week. I could smell Jubilation 40, but 25 was gone. So it does last longer. But as far as like the sillage goes, 25 has a bigger sillage. It projects crazy compared to 40. 40 sits closer to your skin. So those are the things that they've been already reviewed and people talked about. So I want to talk about things that haven't been mentioned, such as the green note. There is this foresty, mossy kind of a green note, which not only comes from the moss, which I think is a little bit amped up. That's why Jubilation 40 feels more chypre and 25 feels more like a fougere kind of amber. They both are very woody, but I feel like 40 is definitely more chypre and 25 feels more like a aromatic fougere kind of a scent. And makes it almost a versatile kind of a scent now compared to 40 when you smell them side by side, especially the dry down. Yeah. So this, as I mentioned, has this kind of a moist green mossiness to it, and 40 feels more inky. That inkiness is definitely amped up. I see this very darker red color in here, a blackberry. So the blackberry feels very syrupy, very inky, and very resinous. So what I'm trying to say that Jubilation 40 feels very balsamic, way more balsamic than 25. So that's also another thing that nobody talked about. Other than that, they both are very woody. Jubilation 25 feels fresh, like I can smell the citrusy notes on the top, and also the olibanum, which I will talk about it shortly, or the Omani frankincense oil feels fresher in Jubilation 25, where in here feels more resinous, feels darker. I don't know if they use the different kinds. I'm pretty sure they have. It's not the same batch, so it definitely smells different, the incense. But that's also another aspect that I kind of felt when I spray them on my skin for the last month, and also on paper. And now that I'm smelling it again, I can see that the frankincense definitely is different in Jubilation 40 than in 25. So yeah, besides the blackberry, the most important element they share in common is that infamous Omani frankincense oil, which some like to use the term olibanum, and others like to use the general term frankincense, which they both refer to the resin obtained from tree of the Boswellia genus. Again, as I mentioned, there are definitely different batches, and they naturally are going to smell different. So you will definitely have different opening in Jubilation 40 than you would have in Jubilation 25, but very close. But it just feels like the aromaticness, the freshness of the Omani frankincense has been muffled in 40, where in 25 it's brighter. It's definitely amped up with bergamot. It showcases itself much better than it does in 40. So, and I'm sure this has been done on purpose. Yeah, definitely. And in here, in 40, it feels more resinous, more balsamic. The olibanum does, or the Omani frankincense oil. It feels more, as I mentioned, resinous, more balsamic, more inky, which adds to the inkiness and complements the syrupy inkiness of blackberry and the added blackcurrant in Jubilation 40 as well. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, the blackberry accord, which is the signature note in Jubilation DNA, has been shared in both, but now more pronounced by adding blackcurrant, which reveals dry tarred facets, which act as an interlude to the heart of Jubilation 40. The other thing that I'm realizing right now is that Jubilation 25 has this medicinal freshness to it, which you do not have that in 40. That has been rounded up in 40. It feels darker. As I mentioned, the blackcurrant that's been added with the Omani frankincense oil and the blackberry gives it this balsamic, inky, yet dry, tarred facets, where in 25, you do not have that. I mean, 25 is resinous as well, but it feels fresher. It has this medicinal kind of aromatic fougere kind of a opening to it. And it is smooth, but this one feels kind of rounded up and feels like those notes that I'm talking about, they've been muffled by making it dry, tarred, and making that inky, syrupy kind of a note darker, which, makes me realize so many things about Jubilation 25, which I never smelled before because I had it by itself. But now that I have a new flanker of it with the same DNA, it's so educational. It makes me understand 25 even more. Yeah, blackcurrant in combination of blackberry enhances the opening of Jubilation 40 by adding complexity, depth, dryness, but yet tartness to the berry accord, as I mentioned earlier. Blackcurrant brings a sweet, tart, and slightly tangy facet that complements the juicy sweetness of blackberry. This combination creates a more nuanced, syrupy, or inky, if you will, and well-rounded fruity impression. You know, it's interesting because some people talk about animalic facet in Jubilation 40, which most people think it's coming probably from oud and ambergris. First of all, to me, especially me, I mean, you guys know me from my channel, Jubilation 40 does not have any animalic facets at all. I mean, at least for me, because I mean, I have Indian oud and stuff like that, and I wear those. So Jubilation 40 smells almost kind of gourmand to me because of blackberry and stuff. I mean, it feels like a very beautiful, mass-pleasing kind of a fragrance that's very upscale. But to some people, they say that they smell this animalic facet, which I have to say, interestingly, you can call it animalic facet, or you can say medicinal, whatever. I smell that more in Jubilation 25 than I do in 40. I feel, as I mentioned, 40 is rounded up. It's sweeter, it's darker, it's more inky, and it doesn't have, to me at least, any animalic facet. Now, again, those animalic facet that some people might be smelling could be coming from oud and ambergris. Now, I'm not sure, I'm just guessing because I was not able to get a hold of the perfumer regarding Jubilation 40 to ask these questions, but I assume because usually that's what Amouage does, that the oud that's used in 40 and 25 is Assam oud. And Assam oud naturally does have some, I mean, Assam oud has definitely smoky facet to it, but it does have some animalic facet to it, which is untamed like Indian oud. But in here, it's very well tamed, and there's not a lot of it. I mean, I don't smell this and be like, this is an oud fragrance. I would actually say that it smelled the oud in 25 more, maybe, than I do in 40. So 40 to me feels very rounded up, like there's no sharp edges. Not that there's sharp edges in 25, but it just feels so smooth. So that's why I do not feel like there's any animalic facet to it. But again, some say that they smell these animalic facets. Now, again, it can be coming from oud and ambergris, but that's not really where this animalic facet is coming from. In here, surprisingly, the animalic facet mostly comes from blackcurrant, which could be amped up by oud and ambergris. So this can be very surprising to some because they're like, wait a minute, blackcurrant, animalic facets? Well, we'll get to that. But if you're smelling anything that kind of feels animalic or in some ways, as I mentioned, medicinal, especially for people that don't have 25 to compare it side by side, I would say that that medicinal or animalic facet, it's coming mostly actually more from blackcurrant than you would be getting from oud and ambergris. You see, blackcurrant is light, fruity, woody note with rich, sensual, and harmonious animal-like aspect that lies between green and red fruity scents. And that's why when I sprayed this number 40, I said that there's this almost like a mossy green vibe to it on the opening, kind of moist green, which some might say, oh my God, this sounds like patchouli, which it does, but it actually is the blackcurrant that it's been used in here that creates that green, somewhat fruity scent, which you can definitely smell that on the opening, which fades away. Now it's gone, but initially when I sprayed it, I definitely could smell that moist kind of fruity greenness in here that was added to that inkiness of blackberry, which made it very interesting and beautiful. Now this animal-like aspect that I was talking about with blackcurrant, some use the term cat piss, or some say it smells like ammoniac kind of a smell. Again, it depends of the dosage that's been used because blackcurrant is such an interesting kind of a note that's used in perfumery. But in here, to me, to be honest with you, besides getting fruity and kind of greenish scent, I don't really get any animalic facet. But if you're getting anything, it's also coming from blackcurrant. Now, also another reason why this note is used in here is because it creates a very sophisticated fruity tartness that doesn't feel cheap by any means. And I think that's another reason why they use blackcurrant, because they wanted to put a suit on that blackberry note and make that blackberry more of like a nighttime blackberry kind of a chord. That's why now when I smell 25, it feels more like an all day long kind of a scent. Like I feel like I can wake up in the morning and spray this and go out and do my stuff. And at nighttime, I would spray 40 and wear a suit and go to a restaurant and I would be golden, just like the bottle. But that's exactly how it feels. And I think that's why blackcurrant has been used in here to kind of put a suit on that blackberry note and make it more sophisticated and more elegant, if you will. And take that maybe, which never was that way, but take that playfulness out of that blackberry. You know, it's interesting now that I'm smelling the dry down, which I sprayed about, 8-9 hours ago, to the one that I sprayed about 10 minutes ago. And I have to say that I do smell the animalic facet in the dry down. And I do smell the Assam oud. Again, I'm assuming that's Assam oud from just the history and the recent releases of Amouage, like King Blue and Silver Oud, which they use Assam oud in both. I would assume that they use Assam oud in Jubilation 40 as well. Now, I'm not sure, but that's what I'm assuming. But you definitely get some Assam oud popping out in the dry down. So if some people are smelling that animalic facet in the dry down, it's definitely from Assam oud. Now, I don't know if the ambergris is natural or not. That I have no clue. But the one that I sprayed about 8-10 minutes ago, as it's getting to the heart, it feels like sparkling inky or syrupy blackberry jam layered on a base of soil and incense. So that's exactly how it feels like now in the heart. And that soil smell is definitely from blackcurrant, which is amped up in Jubilation 40, or is actually used in Jubilation 40, which has not been used in Jubilation 25. That's why you don't get that soil kind of a smell in Jubilation 25, but instead you get this medicinal, definitely medicinal, sparkling bergamot, zesty kind of a smell in Jubilation 25. Again, I must say, on my skin, it was different. On my skin, the scent emphasized woods, subtle spiced incense, lots of myrrh, and a hint of oud. The oud was not as animalic as I'm smelling here on the dry down. Again, it's not crazy animalic now. Wow, it's becoming also a little bit smoky as well. Resinous, smoky, a little bit animalic. Very interesting. But overall, 40 feels creamier than 25. As I mentioned, it feels warmer, more sensual, more intimate, creamier but dense and heavy at the same time. It feels heavy and dense, but it doesn't feel as loud as 25, which goes back to the projection of 25, which the sillage of 25 is definitely much bigger than 40. This one definitely sits closer on your skin. But I also must add that the blending is expertly done, creating a three-dimensional effect without any note overpowering each other. All right, so now that we're getting to the heart of Jubilation 40, the incense opens up more, it becomes more resinous, the scent becomes definitely more balsamic, but also you're welcomed with a Scotch broom, which is a very interesting note, which has this kind of a sweet green aroma with kind of floral undertones to it, which is a great transition from the top to the heart, because the top you have the blackcurrant that has some green notes, and then you have Scotch broom that has some green aroma to it as well. That's why you get that kind of a soil kind of a smell that I was talking about, green soil smell that I was talking about. So you definitely get that. And this transition happens very seamlessly because of Scotch broom. And also Scotch broom helps because of its floral undertones. It helps the rose to kind of come forward, which you can definitely kind of feel that in here as well. But it's nothing like you can cherry pick. As I said, the notes are so well blended that you cannot really cherry pick them. But that's the way the transition is happening. But what I'm getting, I get more of this kind of a syrupy, honeyed tobacco with some floral nuances, like rose nuances in the background, which has some green kind of facet to it, green soil kind of facet to it, which also incense kind of helps with that as well. So to be quite frank with you, it is a journey with significant transitions, starting with the distinctive combination of blackberry and blackcurrant in the opening. As it evolves, the heart unfolds with Scotch broom and frankincense, imparting a delightful note of syrupy honey tobacco, which is spiced up with cinnamon and clove, which makes it very interesting and somewhat, at least to me, delicious. You also get hints of floral from rose, but also remember that Scotch broom adds to the floral notes as well. Yeah, smelling the dry down right now, which is the base of the scent, and this one truly is, because now it's been 8-9 hours. And I must say that it offers a rich blend of deep earthy woods, which is somewhat smoky woods as well, which is very beautiful. So there's a little bit of hint of smokiness, just faint in the dry down, with some chypre moss at play and a subtle touch of the animalic, which again must be from oud in the dry down. At least in the dry down, must be definitely from the Assam oud, if I'm not mistaken. Now, creating a captivating olfactory experience, which makes it very beautiful. Again, remember, the base of Jubilation 40 has patchouli in it. It has a new note that you don't have that in Jubilation 25. It also has this inkiness, which I'm not going to get into that, what it does. It's going to take too much of time. And of course, one thing that gives this scent, that syrupy, somewhat honey tobacco, hay-like kind of a smell, must be a very good dose of opoponax, which we have in here, and also a big dose of myrrh as well. Now, I believe that the moss definitely has been amped up in Jubilation 40 as well. That's why it comes off so chypre. Then you have cedar wood and guaiac wood, which definitely makes the scent very woody, but still helps it to keep its sweetness, because guaiac wood definitely is woody, but it's somewhat sweet undertones as well, which is followed by hints of oud and ambergris, which the ambergris makes it sensual and gives it this very beautiful muskiness, which I'm hoping that it is natural ambergris. All right, you guys, so that's all I have for Jubilation 40 and its comparison to Jubilation 25. I hope this was helpful to you guys, and I hope this was enough information. Again, I'm trying to change it up and not get into so much detail, so the video becomes more appealing to the masses, but I cannot help myself because these are true masterpieces, and I think that they definitely deserve to be talked about in depth. And I think even I didn't talk enough in depth about everything that I wanted to, but I think these are the most important aspects that I wanted to cover in this video. I will definitely do a future video again of Jubilation 40, but I definitely have to say that it's definitely not redundant. I would say Jubilation 25 almost feels like a signature scent, and it's very airy, so I would say you could wear this all seasons around because of its dry down. It's very aromatic, has a very fougere kind of a vibe to it. Again, it is on the darker side of the aromatic fragrances, but it is not a fragrance that I would say, oh, you definitely have to wear this in wintertime or cooler temperature. This would shine in the heat of the summer as well. But I would say regarding the combo, layering these, which I tried it as well, comes out beautiful. Like during the day, I would get up, spray 25, and then nighttime when I'm going out, just spray some 40 right on top of it, and I would get the best combo of the intensity, the warmness and the roundness of the 40, and the kind of sophisticated nighttime feel of it. And then I also would get the projection from 25 as well. So that's as far as the way I would layer these. And that's it, guys. That's all I have. Thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye.